Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 2,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy the content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
The Minnesota Vikings are on the clock, and if you're part of Jay's Nation, you need to buckle up because the 2026 NFL Draft is about to get real interesting. We're talking about a franchise-defining moment here, folks. The Vikings absolutely cannot afford to miss on this first-round pick, and let me tell you why this might be the most important draft selection this organization has made in years. Let's set the stage here. The Minnesota Vikings have been, let's be honest, pretty awful at drafting over the last couple of years. When you're trying to build a championship contender, you can't keep whiffing on first-round picks. You need day-one starters. You need immediate impact players. You need guys who are going to walk into the building and make your football team better from the moment they put on that purple jersey. That's the pressure sitting on this pick at number 18. And the consensus among the draft analysts, the guys who eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff, is pointing toward one name, Oregon safety Dillon Thieneman. Now, before we dive deep into why Thieneman is the perfect pick for Minnesota, let's talk about who's saying this. Field Yates, the ESPN insider who knows his stuff, has the Vikings selecting Thieneman at 18. Todd McShay, one of the most respected NFL draft analysts in the business, also has Minnesota grabbing the Oregon safety. When you've got two heavy hitters like that pointing in the same direction, you need to pay attention. This isn't some random mock draft thrown together in 15 minutes. These are educated predictions based on team needs, scheme fits, and pure talent evaluation. And here's my hot take, the take I'm willing to stake my reputation on. Dillon Thieneman at pick 18 would be an absolute home run selection. I'm not talking about a solid pick. I'm not talking about a safe pick. I'm talking about the kind of pick that makes you jump off your couch, pump your fist, and immediately start dreaming about Super Bowls. This is genuinely my dream scenario for the Vikings at this spot, and I'm going to spend the next few minutes explaining exactly why. The safety position for Minnesota is screaming for an injection of talent. Even if Harrison Smith, the legendary Vikings safety who's been the backbone of that secondary for over a decade, decides to come back for one more year, the Vikings absolutely have to put some capital into that position. Smith isn't getting younger. Father Time is undefeated, and while Harry has been phenomenal throughout his career, the Vikings need to be thinking about the future. They need to be thinking about who's going to patrol that back end when Smith eventually hangs up the cleats and rides off into the sunset. Enter Dillon Thieneman, a prospect who seems almost tailor-made for what Brian Flores wants to do defensively. If you've watched the Vikings defense over the last couple of years, you know Flores is a defensive mastermind who loves versatility. He wants guys who can line up all over the field. He wants chess pieces. He can move around to confuse quarterbacks and create mismatches. Thieneman is exactly that kind of player. You can line him up in the nickel. You can put him at deep half safety. You can move him all over the field, and he's going to make plays on every single down. What makes Thieneman so special is the complete package he brings. He's versatile, which we've already established. He's got a sky-high football IQ, the kind of instincts that can't really be taught. Some guys just have that innate ability to be in the right place at the right time, to diagnose plays before they happen, to read quarterbacks like they're reading a children's book. That's Thieneman. He processes information quickly, makes smart decisions, and rarely gets caught out of position. In Flores' complex defensive scheme, that kind of mental processing ability is absolutely invaluable. Now, let's rewind the tape a little bit. A couple of months ago, we were actually talking about Thieneman as a potential second-round target for the Vikings at pick 49. The thought was, hey, if this kid somehow slides to the second round, the Vikings would be thrilled to grab him there. But something happened between then and now that completely changed his draft stock. That something was the NFL scouting combine, and Thieneman absolutely went nuclear in Indianapolis. Let's talk numbers, because the numbers are absolutely bananas. His relative athletic score, the metric that measures how an athlete performs compared to others at their position, came in at a ridiculous 9.71. That's elite territory. That's the kind of score that makes scouts' eyes light up like Christmas morning. But the headline number, the one that had everyone's jaw on the floor, was his 40-yard dash, 4.35 seconds. Stop and think about that for a moment. This is a safety, a guy who's supposed to be playing in the back end of the defense, running a 4.35. That's wide receiver speed, that's track star speed, that's the kind of speed that translates directly to game-breaking plays on Sundays. When you can run like that, you can cover anybody. You can close on the ball in ways that other safeties simply can't. You can turn potential big plays into incompletions, or even better, interceptions. But Thienemen isn't just a straight-line speed guy. He's also a vertical athlete, posting a 41-inch vertical leap at the combine. Think about what that means in football terms. That means he can go up and get the ball at the highest point. That means when a quarterback throws one up for grabs in the end zone, Thienemen is going to out-jump the receiver and come down with the interception. That's game-changing ability right there. His 10-yard split, which is a fantastic measure of explosive ability and acceleration, came in at 1.52 seconds. That's elite explosiveness, the kind that allows a safety to break on the ball quickly, to fill gaps in run support, to explode forward, and make a tackle for loss before the running back even gets started. When you combine that explosiveness with his top-end speed, you're looking at a safety who can cover the entire field. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you Thienemen is perfect, because no prospect is. He's a little undersized at just 6 feet tall and 201 pounds. In the NFL, where you're going up against massive tight ends and physical wide receivers, that could theoretically be a concern. But here's the thing. Thienemen plays a lot bigger than his measurements suggest. He's not afraid of contact. He's not a guy who's going to shy away from tackling. He plays with a physicality that belies his size, and that's something you absolutely love to see in a safety prospect. He also put up 18 reps of 225 pounds on the bench press, which is solid. It's not going to blow anyone away, but it shows he's got functional strength. He can hold his own in press coverage. He can shed blocks when he needs to. He's not getting ragdolled out there. Let's talk about production, because at the end of the day, college production matters. Last year at Oregon, Thienemen recorded 7 pass breakups and 2 interceptions. He also had a sack, which shows he's got some ability as a blitzer, something Flores would absolutely love to use in his scheme. Flores loves to dial up creative pressure packages, and having a safety who can come downhill and threaten the quarterback adds another dimension to the defense. In coverage, Thienemen was pretty darn good. He only allowed 18 completions on 29 attempts thrown his way in man coverage, giving up 145 yards and 3 touchdowns. Are those perfect numbers? No. There's definitely room for improvement, especially when it comes to limiting touchdowns in man coverage. But the overall picture is of a player who can stick with receivers, who can make plays on the ball, and who can be trusted in coverage situations. When I watch Thienemen's tape, what jumps out immediately is his elite instincts. This guy is always in the right spot at the right time. He's got that sixth sense that great safeties have, where they just know where the play is going before it gets there. He takes great angles to the ball. He doesn't waste steps. He's efficient in his movements, and that allows him to make plays all over the field. His ball skills are also exceptional. When the ball is in the air, Thienemen has a knack for tracking it, adjusting his body, and coming down with the interception. He's got legitimately good hands for a defensive back, the kind of hands that turn near misses into game-changing turnovers. In today's NFL, where creating turnovers is so crucial to winning games, having a safety with elite ball skills is absolutely invaluable. He's also very good in coverage overall. His technique is sound. He doesn't get beat on double moves very often. He can play both man and zone effectively, which again fits perfectly with what Flores wants to do. In Flores' defense, defensive backs need to be able to do it all, and Thienemen absolutely can. Now, run support is an area where Thienemen can definitely get better. He's decent against the run, but if you go through his college highlights, you'll find a few instances where bigger running backs have run him over. That could potentially be a problem at the next level, where running backs are even bigger, even faster, and even more physical. But here's the counterpoint. Most of the top safeties in the NFL aren't great run defenders early in their careers. It's something that develops with better technique, better angles, and more experience. Given Thienemen's football IQ and work ethic, there's every reason to believe he'll improve in that area. What really sets Thienemen apart, though, is his football IQ. This guy is incredibly intelligent on the football field. He knows where to be on every single play. He understands offensive concepts. He can diagnose route combinations. He processes information at a very high level, and that's the kind of thing that can't be taught. You either have it or you don't, and Thienemen absolutely has it. As Field Yates wrote about the Vikings selecting Thienemen, and his analysis is spot on. He noted that as Minnesota waits to hear whether Harrison Smith will return in 2026, Brian Flores' defense is in desperate need of a player who can offer similar ability to limit explosive plays downfield and cover well in the slot. That's exactly what Thienemen brings to the table. Yates also pointed out that Thienemen had 6 interceptions as a true freshman at Purdue, displaying exceptional ball skills, range, and overall play. He finished up his career with 1 season at Oregon and had a dominant combine which included that ridiculous 4.35-second 40-yard dash. The Vikings are in a really good spot heading into this draft. They don't need to force the issue at every single position. They've built a solid roster over the last couple of years. But if I had to identify the one position group where they absolutely need to add talent, where the draft board is shaking out in a way that makes sense, it would be safety. Even if Harrison Smith comes back, and that's still a big if, he's not going to be a guy playing 60 or 70% of the defensive snaps next year. More realistically, we're probably looking at him playing around 25 to 30% of snaps, serving as that Swiss Army knife veteran presence who comes in on big downs. 3rd and 8, the offense needs a stop, and the Vikings put number 22 back on the field because they trust him in those crucial moments. But there's also a very real possibility that Smith decides to hang up the cleats. The man has had an incredible career. He's given everything to the Vikings organization. If he decides it's time to walk away, nobody would blame him. But if that happens, the Vikings absolutely need more talent in the safety room. Jay Ward is a solid player, and the Vikings are expecting big things from him, but you can't go into a season counting on one safety and a bunch of question marks. If you want to get some first-round talent, a guy who's going to be a day-one immediate impact player, you need to draft a safety at 18. And honestly, when you look at the safety prospects in this draft, there are really 2 guys who make sense at 18. Emmanuel McNeil-Warren from Toledo and Dillon Thieneman from Oregon. Both are incredibly talented. Both would make the Vikings defense better immediately. But for my money, for the scheme fit, for the pure upside, I'm taking Thieneman every single time. Todd McShay is also extremely high on Thieneman, and McShay is one of the best in the business when it comes to evaluating prospects. McShay wrote that Thieneman profiles as a versatile replacement for Harrison Smith, exactly the type of piece Brian Flores would love to add to his defense. He noted that Thieneman is a 3-year starter at Purdue and Oregon who brings extensive experience across the secondary with significant reps at free safety, especially early at Purdue, at slot corner, and in the box. That versatility is absolutely crucial in the modern NFL. McShay also highlighted the rare blend of size, speed, explosiveness, instincts, and ball production that Thieneman brings. His combine performance, highlighted by a 4.34 40, a 41-inch vertical leap, and a 10'5" broad jump, was nothing short of sensational according to McShay. And get this, McShay also mentioned that Thieneman's interviews were equally impressive according to multiple NFL sources. That means he's not just a physical specimen, he's also a smart, mature, well-spoken young man who understands the professional nature of the NFL. Teams love that. McShay gave Thieneman a grade of 91 out of 100, which is an elite grade. His positional rank was second among safeties behind only Caleb Downs, and his overall rank was 19th. That means McShay has Thieneman as a top 20 player in this entire draft class. If he's sitting there at 18 and the Vikings pass on him, they're making a huge mistake. Now, I'm not sitting here saying Dillon Thieneman is on the exact same level as Caleb Downs. Downs is widely considered the best safety prospect in this draft, potentially the best player in the entire class. He's going to be an all-pro, probably multiple times. But here's what I am saying. The drop-off between Caleb Downs and Dillon Thieneman is not as severe as people think. People act like it's this massive chasm, like Downs is on Mount Olympus and Thieneman is somewhere down in the valley. That's simply not accurate. I think Thieneman has a legitimate chance to be an all-pro, all-world type of defensive player on the back end. Is it guaranteed? Of course not. Nothing in the draft is guaranteed, but the talent is there. The tools are there, the football IQ is there, and when you factor in the scheme fit with Brian Flores, it's truly a match made in heaven. Flores is going to use Thieneman in ways that maximize his skills, that put him in position to make plays, that allow him to be a game wrecker on defense. Imagine a Vikings defense with Dillon Thieneman roaming the back end. Imagine him and Harrison Smith, if Smith does come back, playing together for a year, with Smith mentoring the young safety and teaching him the nuances of playing the position at the NFL level. Imagine Thieneman developing chemistry with the rest of the Vikings secondary, learning Flores' defense inside and out, and becoming a cornerstone piece of this defense for the next decade. That's the dream scenario, and it's absolutely achievable if the Vikings make the right pick at 18. This is my dream pick for the Vikings. This is the pick that would make me absolutely ecstatic on draft night. Dillon Thieneman, Oregon safety, to the Minnesota Vikings at pick number 18. It's the perfect combination of need, talent, and scheme fit. It's the kind of pick that championship teams make. It's the kind of pick that sets up a franchise for sustained success. So Jays Nation, I want to hear from you. Do you want the Vikings to draft Dillon Thieneman? Are you as excited about this prospect as I am? Drop those skull emojis down in the comments section if you're on board with this pick. Let's get a conversation going about why Thieneman is the perfect fit for Minnesota. The Vikings are at a critical juncture in their franchise history. They've got a talented roster. They've got a creative defensive coordinator in Brian Flores. They've got a solid foundation to build on, but they need to nail this draft pick. They need to add another game-changing talent to this defense. Dillon Thieneman is that guy. He's the safety who can help take this defense from good to great, from competitive to championship caliber. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to weigh in on the Vikings draft strategy. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this deep dive into Dillon Thieneman. Drop a comment letting me know who you want the Vikings to draft at 18. And if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss another Vikings Now video. We're going to be breaking down every angle of this draft, analyzing every prospect, and bringing you the best Vikings content on the internet. This is the most important draft for the Minnesota Vikings in years, and we're going to be here every step of the way, bringing you the analysis, the breakdowns, and the insights you need to understand what's happening with your favorite team. The draft is coming fast, and the excitement is building. Let's ride this wave together, Jays Nation. Skol Vikes, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 2,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy the content, please hit that subscribe button right now.